Greetings and good morning. This is Emunah Y'srael, Soulonomics 101. It's getting warm and I'm loving it. It was cold for a minute, but I'm back outside because it's getting warm. Babies are playing, birds are chirping, and some interesting stuff is going on. So when I see an opportunity to comment on pop culture, I really try to study it from a Soulonomics perspective. And this last one actually just happened yesterday. No, I did not watch the entire thing. I heard it was like 3 hours and 30 minutes. I don't have that kind of time to watch something like the Oscars, but I thought it is interesting this morning as I'm watching all of the outtakes to comment on things from a broader perspective. Now, if anybody knows, I've been, promoting us reading our history collectively and discussing it and, reading about the things that happened before. It's good to read about ancient times. It's also good to read about recent times, civil rights time, post-slavery, slavery, things of this nature. All of the narratives, that's specifically what we're paying attention to. Now, what is very, very interesting, I had to write this down because they say if we don't know history, we're doomed to repeat it. And if we don't know what we're listening to, we don't know what people are alluding to. I beg to ask the question, are they laughing with us or at us? Are they laughing with us or at us? Are they laughing at our ignorance? Are they laughing at our weakened state? Are they laughing at the fact that we have no resources and we keep begging? A few months ago I did a video talking about basically the relationship and why quote-unquote black people need approval from Europeans. And some people are like, oh, I can't believe she said that. But the reality is, when we listen to the conversation from a different perspective, that's basically what it is. So basically, Chris Rock was the presenter, and his job, he's not new to this. He's not new to being around white people. And he's not new to being able to speak to certain issues. And it's a question as whether or not it's unapologetically, because you don't know which side to be on the fence concerning it. It looks like, but not really. And anyway, he started off by saying that the Oscars was AKA, or also known as the White People's Choice Awards. He says that a lot of people, he didn't say what people or who, he said a lot of people was getting at him, talking about you should boycott this, that. They wanted him to stand in solidarity. He was concerned. This is what I extracted. You can watch the video. I'll put the link in the box. He was concerned. This is what I'm hearing from what he's saying through his joke. Like, these unemployed people are telling me that I should boycott an employment opportunity. And so the base of that is, what's the base of that? Working, subsistence. This is what is as you look at the history of quote unquote black people participating. When Fiddler was going out to play for Massa, maybe Massa would give Fiddler a little money. When they went out and put on blackface, imitating you, a lot of them did it for money. I was just reading, or I did another video about the coon songs, where it is that they were doing these coon songs, and it was black people because they wanted money. The base survival of life to be able to sustain yourself. This type of behavior oftentimes is motivated by how am I going to eat, where am I going to live, and whether or not I'm going to speak out for truth and righteousness, or I'm going to have my family. He went on to sell, I don't know if it was a joke or what, but he went on to sell Girl Scout cookies. You understand what I'm saying? So you check that out. I wrote this stuff down. This is why I'm looking down as well. He also spoke in a joking manner about the next generation of comics or possible people to replace him, such as Kevin Hart. So he spoke on that. He touched on that like 2 or 3 different times, saying, well, if I didn't show up, you understand what I'm saying? They might have just put somebody in my place. It was not going to stop what they were doing. Listen to what he's saying through the jokes. And the Europeans, they're laughing. Are you laughing with us, or are you laughing at us? What else I noticed is that he was saying this is not the first time. He alluded to history. Actually, his whole bit was speaking about history. Look back at history in the 50s and 60s. I don't think our foreparents were concerned with this. And he goes on to say that they were concerned about being lynched, raped, and the grandmother hanging from a tree. And if you listen to the European laughter.
The thing is, why are we protesting? That's the big question. Why this Oscars? Why this Oscars? It's the 88th Academy Awards. It's the 88th Academy Awards, which means this whole no black nominees thing has happened at least 71 other times. Okay? You gotta figure that it happened in the 50s, in the 60s. In the 60s, one of those years, Sydney didn't put out a movie. I'm sure there were no black nominees some of those years, say 62 or 63, and black people did not protest. Why? Because we had real things to protest at the time. You know? We had real things to protest. We're too busy being raped and lynched to care about who won Best Cinematographer.
At the point in which he's saying this, it explodes. The room explodes with laughter. I'm trying to figure out what part of that was funny. They weren't as quiet as when Stacey Dash came on the stage like, yo, I'm the new ambassador or the director of, of Minority Outreach Program for the Oscar.
It's hard to get a job, and that's, it's rough out there for black actors. But let me tell you some good news. The Academy has taken steps to fix this problem, and that is why it is my honor to introduce the new director of our Minority Outreach Program. Please welcome Miss Stacey Dash.
I cannot wait to help my people out. Happy Black History Month. Thank you.
Thank you. But enough about black people. Let's bring on Sarah Silverman.
No one was laughing. They didn't get that joke. But they did get the joke about grandparents and people being raped and shot down in the street. Y'all laughed about that. So, are you laughing with the black people or the help or at them? One last thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that as it continues to be, no matter how much you see celebrity or celebration, people who are celebrated, just because you're a celebrity and you're celebrated, it doesn't mean that you're celebrated for a good reason. You have notorious people who are celebrated, but it's not for a good reason. We see that. We see the baddest criminals in history. They're celebrated. They're renowned. So celebrity just means someone that is celebrated. It could be for something good. It can be for something bad. I saw that he was using his jokes. I'm still trying to see which side of the fence, but based on what I hear, the undertone is still looking for approval. Oh, and I'm sorry. He says, we just want opportunity. In the skit, which you guys have to see, in the skit, here goes the stereotypicals. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or not, because you can't really tell, right? But in these stereotypical conversations where he remakes these movies, you have the stereotypical mammy, who with the wrestling with the guy on the gun. You should have called back my agent, the angry black woman stereotypical. And then you had Tracy Morgan at the end, who has on a dress and is effeminate. Pretty much stereotypical. So what they're saying to you is, if you want to be in our award ceremonies, this is where we celebrate you for playing the role that we say you are fit to play. Nothing has changed. And they did it again and everybody is laughing, but I'm not seeing if you seeing that the only time you will be celebrated is if you play a criminal. The only time you will be, because it's my show, baby. I write the scripts. You'll be celebrated for a criminal. You'll be celebrated for a Jezebel. You will be celebrated for a mammy. You will be celebrated for an angry black woman. You will not be celebrated for doing anything out of those confines that we put you in. And we will prove it to you again and again. It's not a hard message to kind of understand, but if we're looking for these little tight nuances and we're looking for, yeah, they spoke up for us, yeah, he said, we're missing it. It's the same thing. If you didn't understand it in English, I will speak it for you in Espanol. That's what they did. You didn't understand in English, we're going to tell you again. You're only accepted when you do as we say. So now what you gonna do? So I know I said one more thing like 2 more things ago, but for real, one more thing. So one more thing on this quote-unquote last day of Black History Month. Do me a favor, people out there. Can we stop like all of these cliche, stereotypical rhetoric type information. Like, if you want to empower the people, yourself, just do it. Just take the time and do it, because it's going to take time. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take something that you do a little bit each day, and you reach out a little bit each day in a comprehensive way, of which for us to get a sufficient foundation of what it is. Lastly, I wanted to say that it has now been declared that April is Confederate Heritage History Month. What is the Confederacy? Does anybody remember what the Confederacy is? I'm going to leave you with a little bit of information about April now being Confederate Heritage History Month. Shalom.